This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
President-elect Trump makes more appointments and Washington reacts.
It's a tremendous honor to the president would place his confidence in me.
I'm Clayton Neville.
Donald Trump has made a triumphant return to Washington.
Donald, congratulations. Thank you.
Sagar Meghani at the White House.
The next Senate will have a new majority leader
to deliver on President Trump's priorities.
I'm Jeff McKay in Washington.
A judge in Philadelphia explains why he didn't stop a $1 million voter sweepstakes linked to Elon Musk. I'm Ed Donahue.
On Wall Street, stocks were mixed yesterday, and inflation came in higher last month after steadily ticking lower all year. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Trump administration, more on a GOP victory, and People magazine names their sexiest man alive. All ahead on America in the Morning. President-elect Donald Trump continues to announce members of his cabinet, which included a surprise pick for Attorney General. Correspondent Clayton Neville has the latest.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio announced by President-elect Trump as his pick for Secretary of State. Rubio sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Foreign Relations Committee.
It's a tremendous honor to the president would place his confidence in me in a position of such importance. It's also a tremendous responsibility, and the job of the Secretary of State is to execute on the foreign policy set by the elected President of the United States, and I hope to have the opportunity to do it if my current colleagues here in the U.S. Senate confirm me.
Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz named Trump's U.S. Attorney General. The president-elect said in a statement that Gaetz will, quote, end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore America's shattered faith and confidence in the DOJ. On Capitol Hill, Republicans vowing to do what it takes to get Trump's appointees confirmed. Senator John Thune won the vote for Senate Majority Leader.
Well, what we're going to do is make sure that we are processing his nominees in a way that gets them into those positions so they can implement his agenda. How that happens remains to be seen. You know, obviously, we want to make sure our committees have confirmation hearings like they typically do, and that these nominees reported out to the floor. But I've said this, and I mean it, that, we expect a level of cooperation from the Democrats to work with us to get these folks installed.
Former Congresswoman from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard, tapped as Trump's Director of National Intelligence. The veteran served in Congress as a Democrat and even ran for president. She eventually left the party, became an independent, and backed Trump. In Washington, reaction to the appointments. Republican Senator Bill Hagerty told Fox News the Department of Justice is in need of a major change.
They have completely weaponized the DOJ, going after parents at school board meetings. You think about going after the sitting president's opponent, his own political opponent, President Trump, while not being willing to prosecute people that are attempting to intimidate and threaten sitting Supreme Court justices at their homes.
Criticism by some over Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense. Fox News host and veteran Pete Hegseth. Some in D.C. reportedly calling that pick ridiculous and some a nightmare, but the former president filling his cabinet with members committed to his agenda with more job posts to fill. I'm Clayton Neville.
President-elect Trump returned to the White House, sitting down with President Biden for a cordial meeting to begin the peaceful transition of power. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
We want this to go well. We want this to be a process that gets the job done, if you will. Honestly, when it comes to why President Biden is doing this, because he believes in the norms, he believes in our institution, he believes in a peaceful transfer of power.
Donald Trump has made a triumphant return to Washington.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition.
Here at the White House, an Oval Office handshake.
Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
President Biden greeting his predecessor turned successor and pledging a smooth transition.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome.
Earlier on Capitol Hill,
the 47th President of the United States.
Trump got a standing ovation from House Republicans.
Isn't it nice to win? It's nice to win.
His visit here to Washington marked a stunning rebound nearly 4 years after Trump left defeated and diminished. Now he and Republicans like House Speaker Mike Johnson are celebrating.
They used to call Bill Clinton the comeback kid. This is the comeback king.
Sagar Meghani at the White House.
Today's top stories are brought to you by Sleep Number. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? It's the only bed that lets you make each side firmer or softer whenever you want. Save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com. McConnell out on Capitol Hill. That's when America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Weather-wise, what can we expect this morning and beyond? Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
A storm is producing rain and thunderstorms first thing this morning through much of the Great Lakes and then southward into the southeast, even reaching to the Gulf Coast. This system will expand eastward today, reaching into western New York, into much of Pennsylvania, and continuing to the south into Georgia and northern Florida. Some of the rain may even mix with some sleet first thing this morning in parts of West Virginia into south central Pennsylvania. Farther to the northeast, it will be dry through New Jersey and eastern New York and New England. There will be clouds building ahead of the storm to the west, but it will be another cold start, and we'll have a chilly afternoon with highs remaining in the 30s and 40s. This approaching storm will slide to the southeastward tonight with more rain in the middle Atlantic, but it will remain dry across eastern New York into New England. Behind this storm, there will be plenty of sunshine returning through the plain states into the Mississippi Valley. It will be also much milder with highs in parts of the western Dakotas into the mid and upper 60s, warming to 70s and 80s in parts of South Texas. This is generally 5 to 15 degrees above the historical average for mid-November. These dry conditions will also extend farther west into the Rockies, Four Corners, and Southern California. These areas, too, will have a more comfortable afternoon with temperatures close to average. And in the northwest into the northern Rockies, there'll be plenty of clouds, along with a few showers from Washington southward to northern California and eastward to Idaho and western Montana. And there could be even some snow showers in portions of the northern Rockies. That's the weather across America. Akron, Ohio will have a cloudy, rainy, and chilly day with a high of 45. It'll be a milder day in Scottsbluff, Nebraska with plenty of sunshine and a high of 65. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
I'm John Trout. Remember, follow us wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Mitch McConnell will not lead Republicans in the United States Senate when the new session of Congress begins in January. America in the Morning's Jeff McKay has details.
I promise to be a leader who serves the entire Republican conference. We'll have an ambitious agenda, and we'll take each and every Republican working together to be successful.
That was Senate Minority Whip John Thune. The South Dakota Republican will be the new Republican Senate leader and the majority leader of the upper chamber in the new Congress, succeeding Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who is the longest-serving party leader in Senate history. Speaking on Capitol Hill after Senate Republicans held a secret vote that included Florida Senator Rick Scott and Texas Senator John Cornyn, Thune said he will focus the Senate to start work on day one to approve President-elect Trump's plans for the nation.
We are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda. A mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities.
Fox News reports no candidate reached a majority during the first secret ballot. Rick Scott received the least amount of votes and was knocked out of the race. The second secret ballot was between only Thune and Cornyn. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso was named Assistant Majority Leader, and Washington's Shelley Moore Capito as Republican Policy Committee Chair, while Tom Cotton of Arkansas becomes Republican Conference Chair. I'm Jeff McKay in Washington.
A judge has given his reason for the decision regarding the Elon Musk swing state prize giveaway. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
The judge ruled Philadelphia's top prosecutor failed to show it was an illegal lottery. The prize was open only to swing state voters, that includes Pennsylvania, who signed a petition endorsing the constitutional right to free speech and to bear arms. Lawyers for Musk's America PAC revealed in court the recipients didn't win a game of chance. They were instead chosen to be paid spokespeople for the group. DA Larry Krasner said people were being scammed. The judge said Krasner didn't provide any evidence beyond mere speculation. Musk invested more than $70 million in the Political Action Committee to help Donald Trump return to the White House. He has now been tapped to lead a Trump administration government efficiency effort. I'm Ed Donahue.
When we return on America in the Morning, Musk and Ramaswamy. Doge after these messages. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. The Business Report is brought to you by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, always putting clients' interests first. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. How does Wall Street open today? Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning after modestly mixed markets yesterday and all-time highs for shares of big names like Amazon and Walmart heading into the holiday shopping season.
Look, market's very firm. It's sort of consolidating in an incredibly painless way this week.
CNBC's Mike Santoli. Bitcoin popped up over $91,000 yesterday before falling below 90. The cryptocurrency called Dogecoin spiked after President-elect Trump announced he was creating a Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, D-O-G-E.
It's going to be Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy leading the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge. For Musk, though, this puts him in charge of making recommendations for cuts at the same federal agencies that regulate his companies that range from Tesla to SpaceX to Neuralink. Doge has until July 4th of 2026 to make its recommendations. But even with those recommendations, Congress will likely have to approve cuts that can't happen through executive orders from President Trump.
CNBC's Steve Kovac. Chipmaker AMD says it's cutting 1,000 jobs, about 4% of its workforce. Tesla Cybertrucks recalled again, the sixth time in a year. More than 2,000 have defective drive inverters, according to a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Amazon is out with a new Amazon Prime Visa card. It's got a $200 Amazon gift card as a welcome bonus. That's double the normal amount. It's for Prime members, which costs $140 a year, and the interest rate starts at 20% if you tend to carry a balance month to month. When there's too much oil and not enough demand, prices fall, and shares of ExxonMobil and Chevron are a good example. So stock investors don't really want more drilling if nobody wants the oil. And right now, about half of all U.S. states have prices at the pump with a two-handle for a gallon of regular. That's under $3 a gallon gas, according to AAA. Under the Biden administration, the U.S. became the world's biggest oil producer.
While President-elect Donald Trump has said he wants to drill, baby, drill, it's really unclear whether or not the industry will actually heed that call because, of course, the market already looks oversupplied. We had OPEC out with its monthly oil report, bringing down its demand forecast. And so it's not as if executives want to increase their output so much into a market that's already pretty well supplied for 2025.
CNBC's Pippa Stevens. On today's watch list, we get earnings from Disney. We get the latest on inflation at the wholesale level with the PPI, Producer Price Index. We find out how many people applied for unemployment benefits last week. And Taylor Swift takes her Eras tour to Toronto tonight. A big money maker.
Aren't they all? There's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. When we return on America in the Morning, surge in birth control post-Trump election after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Welcome back. Following Donald Trump's victory on November 5th, there's been a surge in demand for both birth control and abortion pill requests. Correspondent Haya Panjwani reports.
Requests for permanent sterilizations and long-term birth control, like IUDs, have surged across the nation since Donald Trump has been elected president. One company selling emergency contraception saw a 966% increase in sales in the 60 hours following the election compared with the week before. That's because people who feel uncertain about access to birth control and abortions in the coming years are stockpiling emergency contraception and abortion pills in case they need them. Research found that more women had their tubes tied post-Roe, with the biggest increases in states that ban abortion. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
We'll get all kinds of lists between now and the end of the year, and it is that time. People magazine releases their Sexiest Man Alive. With that, here's entertainment correspondent Margie Zaraletta.
John Krasinski tells People magazine when he heard the news he was named its Sexiest Man Alive, his reaction was immediate blackout. Krasinski, who is 45, is known for the TV show The Office, the action series Jack Ryan, and the movie A Quiet Place. Krasinski says his wife, actor Emily Blunt, was very excited to hear the news and joked she was going to wallpaper their house with the magazine cover. Last year's recipient was actor Patrick Dempsey. It is the 40th year that People magazine has chosen a Sexiest Man Alive. I'm Margie Zaraletta.
America in the Morning for Thursday, November 14th, 2024 is produced by Jeff McKay. Senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
Donald Trump has announced 3 more key nominations with loyalists. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
GOP control projected in D.C. I'm Clayton Neville.
A judge temporarily blocks Louisiana's 10 Commandment law. I'm Pamela Furr.
Investigating a deadly Louisville explosion, arrests in the New Jersey wildfires, and Super Bowl heroes, the victims of home break-ins. We'll have details.
A man who worked for the U.S. government has been charged with leaking classified information. I'm Julie Walker.
A docuseries on Peacock reveal allegedly new crimes of Charles Manson. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning, and thanks for listening. At the National Map, here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy with the forecast.
In the northwest into the northern Rockies, there will be plenty of clouds around today with some showers from Washington southward to northern California and eastward to Idaho and western Montana, where snow will also develop in the mountains. The system will continue to build into central California tonight with additional rain and snow showers expanding into southwest Idaho and in Nevada. And another storm is producing rain and thunderstorms first thing this morning through much of the Great Lakes and southward to the southeast, even reaching to the Gulf Coast. This system will expand eastward today, reaching into western New York and much of Pennsylvania, and continuing to the south into Georgia and northern Florida. And some of the rain may even mix with some sleet first thing this morning in parts of west Virginia into south central Pennsylvania. Farther to the northeast, it'll be another dry day through New Jersey into eastern New York and New England. There'll be clouds building from that storm to the west, but it'll be a cold start and a chilly afternoon with highs remaining in the 30s and 40s. This approaching storm will slide to the southeast tonight with more rain in the middle Atlantic, but it will remain dry across eastern New York into New England. In the area in between the two storms, there will be plenty of sunshine from the Plain States into the Mississippi Valley. It'll also be much milder with highs in parts of the western Dakotas into the mid and even upper 60s and warming to the 70s and 80s across parts of South Texas. This is generally 5 to 15 degrees above the historical average for mid-November. These dry conditions will also extend farther west through the Rockies into the Four Corners and also Southern California, and these areas too will have more comfortable afternoons with temperatures close to average. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. I'm John Trout. Donald Trump continues to announce choices for his cabinet at breakneck speed. Florida's Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress after the president-elect named him to be the next attorney general. But despite a Republican-led Congress, he could face some GOP opposition. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports on other loyalists tapped for top cabinet posts.
Donald Trump has announced 3 more key nominations as he continues stocking his cabinet with loyalists. The president's tabbed one-time rival turned fierce backer Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State.
It's a tremendous honor to the president would place his confidence in me in a position of such importance. It's also a tremendous responsibility, and the job of the Secretary of State is to execute on the foreign policy set by the elected president of the United States, and I hope to have the opportunity to do it if my current colleagues here in the U.S. Senate confirm me.
But concerns about the lack of qualifications of 2 other nominees could make Senate confirmation hard. Trump has named Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General.
Everyone who served with him will tell you he's one of the most intelligent members of Congress. He's an accomplished attorney. He's very concerned about the lawfare that has been occurring in the Department of Justice under the Biden administration, and the fact that the American people have lost their faith in our institutions of justice because of everything that they've seen. He's a reformer in his mind and heart, and I think that he'll bring a lot to the table on that.
And former Democratic lawmaker Tulsi Gabbard is getting the nod as Director of National Intelligence. She's never worked directly in the intelligence community outside of serving on House committees. In a flurry of announcements, Trump announced he'll nominate Fox News host Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary, a move sure to draw questions. Hegseth served in Iraq and Afghanistan as a junior officer, but lacks senior military or national security experience. Trump has also tabbed former National Intelligence Chief John Ratcliffe to lead the CIA, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be Homeland Security Secretary. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Becoming official, President-elect Donald Trump will have Republican control in both chambers of Congress. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
Republicans flipped the Senate last week and will have control of that chamber under President-elect Trump's administration. Now, the GOP, the projected winner in the House. Currently, Republicans have captured 218 seats. That's the needed number to secure the majority. Democrats with 208. The GOP flipped 7 seats, while Democrats flipped 6.
The theme that you'll hear over and over from all of our members across the conference is that we are unified and energized and ready to go. We have to deliver for the American people beginning on day one in the new Congress, and we will be ready for that.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Serious times call for serious leadership. It's going to be a policy agenda-driven administration and a Congress, and you've heard us say many times that it could be, I believe it will be, the most consequential Congress in the modern era, most consequential administration of the modern era, because frankly, we have to fix almost every area of public policy.
It is a blow for the Democratic Party, which was hoping to take control of the House. Speaker Johnson said that Americans spoke loud and clear by voting Republican.
The number one concerns were the cost of living, the wide open border, the instability on the world stage, the weakness that has gotten us into the most dangerous situation since World War II. They were worried about instability and insecurity, the radical, progressive, woke agenda. People have had enough of all that.
With Republican control in the House and the Senate, the confirmation process for President-elect Trump's appointees expected to go relatively smooth, and Democrats will have a limited ability to provide a check on Trump and his agenda. I'm Clayton Neville.
House Republicans have announced they plan to keep Mike Johnson as Speaker, as well as Steve Scalise as House Majority Leader, each with the backing of President-elect Donald Trump. Minnesota's Tom Emmer will stay as House Majority Whip, while Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain will take over as Conference Chair, replacing Elise Stefanik, who is leaving Congress after becoming Trump's cabinet choice for U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. America in the Morning continues. Federal authorities are being called in to investigate after at least 2 employees are dead following an explosion that could be heard for miles and fire that gutted a food coloring plant in Kentucky. Correspondent Donna Warder reports the blast was so powerful it damaged homes and businesses in the Louisville area.
11 employees at Givaudan, a food coloring plant in Louisville, Kentucky, were taken to hospitals following Tuesday afternoon's explosion. Now 2 employees have died.
The first victim, who passed away, was transported to U of L Hospital and died as a result of the injuries sustained in the blast. The second victim was found in the rubble as Louisville firefighters went back into the building to confirm that everyone had been accounted for.
The company says in a statement, "We are grieving with the families, friends, and loved ones of those that were lost and injured during this very difficult time." The blast caused the building to partially collapse and blew out windows and homes in nearby businesses. Patrick Livers, who lives nearby, says the blast shifted the drywall in his home.
My mom called me about 3:30ish, said, "Hey, your house is destroyed, right?" And I was just kind of brushed it off like, "Oh, what happened? A tree branch fell on it." And then she turned on the camera, FaceTime. And I was like, "Oh, you're..."
A reconstruction team from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is headed to Louisville. I'm Donna Warder.
Among the stories we're covering next, blocking the 10 Commandments. Also on America in the Morning, X loses hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Those stories and more after these messages. This is America in the Morning. I'm John Trout. A federal judge hits the brakes on a Louisiana law temporarily blocking a requirement that the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom by January 1st. Pamela Furr has that story.
The law was passed over the summer that would require all public K through 12 and state-funded university classrooms to display a poster-sized, state-approved version of the commandments. But there have been challengers to this new law, and a judge agreed with the challengers, saying the plaintiffs were able to show the law is likely unconstitutional, violating the First Amendment. The ACLU and other civil rights groups brought the lawsuit on behalf of 9 multi-faith families who have students in the Louisiana public schools. Now, you may recall in 1980, the Supreme Court ruled a similar Kentucky law violated the Constitution's Establishment Clause. More recently, bills in Texas, Oklahoma, and Utah required the 10 Commandments be displayed in classrooms, but none have gone into effect. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill says the state will continue to fight to get the ban lifted, even if it means taking the fight all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm Pamela Furr.
2 arrests were made in New Jersey as crews deal with multiple wildfires in an area outside of New York City, one that claimed the life of an 18-year-old volunteer. As correspondent Lisa Dwyer reports, a massive California wildfire has already destroyed or damaged 250 homes and businesses.
As firefighters are making good progress battling a major wildfire in a county northwest of Los Angeles, dry conditions from coast to coast are contributing to the spread of wildfires, particularly in Southern California. On the East Coast, New Jersey and New York state officials have publicly announced criminal charges against 2 people, separately accused, of setting some of the wildfires that have plagued the Northeast in recent weeks. Conditions in some Northeast states are the driest they've been in nearly 120 years. Numerous wildfires continue to burn in places that have not seen significant rain since August. New Jersey is asking residents to take voluntary conservation steps, but stopped short of mandatory water usage restrictions, which would be included in the event of a drought emergency, the highest level that the government can impose. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A federal worker was taken into custody overseas, charged in a new classified documents leak. That story from correspondent Julie Walker.
A man who worked for the U.S. government with top-secret security clearance has been charged with leaking classified information, assessing Israel's earlier plans to attack Iran, according to court papers filed Wednesday. The man, identified as Asif William Rahman, was arrested by the FBI this week in Cambodia and was due to make his first court appearance in Guam. He was indicted last week in federal court in Virginia on 2 counts of willful transmission of national defense information. The documents showed up last month on the Telegram messaging app. They were prepared by the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, which analyzes images and information collected by U.S. spy satellites. I'm Julie Walker.
2 Super Bowl teammates who play for the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL have both been recent victims of home invasions. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh reports.
Law enforcement reports show the homes of Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce were broken into last month. Before practice on Wednesday, Mahomes described it as frustrating and disappointing. The break-ins were first reported by TMZ. They happened just before and on the day of the Chiefs' 26-13 home victory over the Saints on October 7th. No injuries were reported in either case. Mahomes said he couldn't provide many details because the investigation is ongoing. He described it as, quote, something you don't want to happen to anybody and obviously yourself. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Social media platform X is dealing with an exodus of users leaving the service after the election, while Blue Sky sees gains of over 1 million new accounts. Here's Chuck Palm with that in today's Tech Report.
Social media platform X's competitor Blue Sky has rocketed to #1 on the downloads for the Apple Store. It's reported that Blue Sky's user base has doubled in the past 90 days, and the company has gained 1 million new subscribers, bringing their total to over 15 million active users. Following the Trump election, a number of high-profile accounts have left X, including The Atlantic's Charlie Wartzel, the New York Times' Mara Gay, and former CNN anchor Don Lemon. The Guardian also announced their exit, saying they will no longer post on X, calling it a toxic media platform. According to tracking site SimilarWeb, more than 115,000 U.S. users on X exited the platform the day after the election. Market intelligence firm Sensor Tower also reports that Blue Sky has seen a major jump in users, but still has a much smaller user base than X or Meta's Threads. Bitcoin leaping over 90,000 today and Ethereum at 3190. I'm Chuck Palm.
Thursday Sports is in. Here's Robert Workman.
The Cavaliers fought off the 76ers 114-106 last night to become the 6th NBA team all-time to start a season with 13 consecutive victories. The last team to do it was the 2015 Warriors. They set the record that year, opening up 24-0. The Bucks got 59 points from Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the most by any player in the association this year, but they needed overtime to put away the Pistons. Milwaukee came back from down 18 in the second half. Giannis actually outscored Detroit in OT all by himself. Spurs got by the Wizards. Victor Wembanyama had a career-high 50 points, becoming the 4th youngest player ever to hit half 100. He turns 21 on January 4th. Bulls nipped the Knicks despite 46 from Karl Anthony Towns. Lakers got by the Grizzlies. LeBron James, his 3rd straight triple-double. At 39, he's the oldest player ever to do that. Elsewhere, the Celtics pulled away from the Nets. Blazers topped the Timberwolves. Kings crushed the Suns. Pacers beat the Magic. Thunder rolled over the Pelicans, and the Rockets sank the Clippers. College basketball, top 10 wins for number 3 Connecticut, number 5 Auburn, and number 8 Houston by an average of almost 37 points. NHL, Mikko Rantanen's hat trick led the Avalanche over the Kings 4-2. He's now tied for the league lead with a dozen goals this year. Utah scored 3 times in a 2.5-minute span in period 3 to knock off the Hurricanes. Goalie Karel Hamelka made 49 saves. Maple Leafs rallied from down 3-1 with 5 minutes left to upend the Capitals in overtime. Red Wings edged the Penguins in overtime, and the Golden Knights nipped the Ducks. That's Thursday Sports.
Thank you, sir. When we return on America in the Morning, a chilling new discovery surrounding Charles Manson after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning. Reports out of Hollywood say legendary musician, composer, and producer Quincy Jones died from pancreatic cancer. CNN reports that his death certificate listed no other contributing factors to Jones' death, but noted that he had been living with cancer for years. Jones, who worked with a myriad of industry giants, including Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and Michael Jackson, died last week at the age of 91. The music icon was laid to rest in a private ceremony earlier this week, and a larger memorial is being planned. Shifting gears, there's an update on the McDonald's E. coli outbreak. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
At least 104 people have fallen sick in an outbreak of E. coli food poisoning tied to the onions served on McDonald's quarter-pounder hamburgers. 34 have been hospitalized. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that cases have been detected in 14 states. One person died in Colorado, and 4 people have developed a potentially life-threatening kidney disease complication. The outbreak has been tied to slivered onions served on the quarter-pounders. The CDC says the risk to the public remains low. I'm Ed Donahue.
Finally, newly uncovered tapes are suggesting that Charles Manson may have also committed murders in Mexico in the 1960s, prior to his famous Los Angeles area crime spree. Kevin Carr reports.
New revelations about Charles Manson have come to light in an upcoming docuseries premiering on Peacock next week.
Charles Manson is notorious for the most frightening murders that ended the 60s.
Directed by Billy Mintz, Making Manson focuses on newly uncovered tapes of the notorious cult leader who infamously oversaw multiple murders by his followers in Los Angeles in 1969. One of the tapes, recorded by a friend of Manson's while he was in prison, appears to have him confessing to a series of crimes when he lived in Mexico in the 60s.
See, there's a whole part of my life that nobody knows about. I lived in Mexico for a while. I went to Acapulco, stole some cars.
These crimes took place before Manson came to California to start a hippie-style commune made up of mostly young women. While Manson did not directly kill the victims in 1969, one of which was Hollywood actress Sharon Tate, he directed his acolytes to do so. Manson was convicted of murder and conspiracy to commit murder in 1971. He died in prison at the age of 83 in 2017. In the clips from Making Manson, he suggests that he was involved in multiple crimes, including murder.
I left with 357 Magnum in Mexico City. And I left some dead people on the beach.
The docuseries Making Manson premieres on Peacock on Tuesday, November 19th. I'm Kevin Carr.
America in the Morning for Thursday, November 14th, 2024 is produced by Jeff McKay, senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.